It was an 8.0 earthquake which struck just after 11 this morning our time, about 10 degrees south of the equator in the Solomon Islands. It generated a 3-foot wave and triggered a Pacific-wide tsunami alert. Warnings were issued for the Solomons and other island groups in the South Pacific. Guam and the TSUNAMI, along with other Micronesian islands, were placed under a watch here in the North Pacific. But the National Weather Service's warning coordinator, Chip Gard, says that the Tsunami Warning Center in Honolulu monitored the waves through buoys and satellite data and called off all the alerts within 2 hours.
Tsunami Warning Center monitors that. They monitor all kinds of locations, tide gauges and buoys. And what they ended up doing is narrowing down the area of the warning, and then finally they canceled the tsunami warning. So they determined that the chances for a destructive tsunami warning for any locations in the Northern Hemisphere was very small, and they went ahead and canceled the warning.
Guam Civil Defense and Homeland Security was activated soon after word of the Tsunami Watch was announced.
From the initial notification, we initially went into a partial activation of the EOC. We upped it up later, a few minutes later, to full manning, getting all our response activity coordinators. But the bottom line is we have constantly maintained the monitoring of this event.
And in an abundance of caution, Guam DOE sent students at Southern high schools home early.
Based on the information that we were receiving from a person that we had up at Homeland Security, we were advised that they were anticipating if a tsunami had formed that it would come from the southern part of the island. And so based on that information and knowing the time that it was predicted, we had to make a decision to release the students early so that they could get home in a timely manner and be with their families, so the families could make a decision on how they were going to proceed to safe grounds.
The most you ever did was advise people to
Yes.
stay away from low-lying areas and the beaches.
Yes, sir.
That was as serious as it got, right?
Yes, sir.
If we have an earthquake somewhere and it's in the Pacific and it's a 9 or a 9.5, we have a much greater chance of getting a destructive tsunami than we do if it's an 8.0. So this was on the low edge, okay, but still had the potential.
However, Gard reminds residents that the reef and deep ocean waters that surround Guam do not make us immune from tsunamis. He cites the Samoa tsunami of 2009.
September 29th, 2009, 34 people died in American Samoa. 192 people died in the Samoa region. They are very similar to Guam. They have a very deep reef, trench, the Tonga Trench. They're surrounded by reef, and the water comes up very deep, very rapidly. So it just got to be in the right place at the right time. These are very rare events, but they can occur.
One other thing we learned today is that those tsunami early warning sirens, which have been sitting in a warehouse for years, are still not up and working. But the RFPs have finally been issued, and Leon Guerrero estimates that they may be in place and working within 6 months. Kevin Kerrigan, PNC News.